Hi,
Hi.
with me is Ameet Dhurandhar, who's a OBGYN and a father. And so this is going to be a very interesting conversation. And I have a few questions for you. This is on the occasion of Father's Day. We at My Child First welcome you. Hi, Ameet.
Hi, Divya. How are you?
So you're both a doctor and an OB at that, and a father. So tell me, when you were having your own children, which role were you taking more, or were you jumping between two?
That too, a father of an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old son. So uh, they are notorious. Anyways, there is well, as a healthcare provider and especially an obstetrician and being a father, there's a thin line between both the roles. Being supportive during labor or before in the antenatal period, one has to be very supportive because, as you know, the hormones are flying, the tempers are flying, and so one has to make sure to keep the house calm and in order. But saying that, our first pregnancy was quite. My wife was a hero. She cruised through and didn't require any not much needs. When the labor came, she was postpartum. She went over 42 weeks. So in my wisdom, I gave her some castor oil, and she ended up with severe diarrhea and dehydration, and ended up in a with fetal distress and ended up with a C-section. So, well, it didn't go that well as planned, but yes, it was great. It's a thin line. One When I was in with her in the labor room and in the OT, I was in the doctor's. Uh, I was playing the doctor's part, but once the baby came out, obviously when I held him, it was just unbelievable. So yes, so there is definitely a thin line, but one has to switch off and on, and one needs to know to do that. Otherwise, it's difficult. No, but I was being more of a doula
Ah,
because I didn't deliver her. I was my first baby. It was done by my father and my sister.
yeah.
So I was the doula, and I was giving an completely emotional support. And that's the first time I realized what an important job a doula has to has, and what accomplishments she can do.
So everybody focuses on the woman's experience, her journey, but today we want to talk about you because, firstly, men don't show too much emotion, but it is a very, very intense field. And secondly, now more and more fathers are now becoming hands-on, and what does that mean to them? That joy of, well, say, providing care to the baby or interacting with the baby, even from, really infanthood. Because I remember my father saying that, when you're really small babies, we have no role to play, but that is not true
No,
anymore.
that's completely not true.
Yes. So tell us a little bit of feelings. We want to hear feelings from fathers today.
So the fathers play a major role, I would feel, in this whole beautiful process. They have to be, which is emotional as well, which is emotional physically as well as mentally. One has to be there to support uh, the mother because she's undergoing so much of change. And especially for the first time parents, they have no clue what's going on and what to expect. So when the baby comes, it is just an overwhelming feeling, and it can be very physically exhausting both for both the parents, mother and father. So that's when naturally more so for the mother. So that's when the father has to step in and take over and try to help her in whatever means is required. You don't have to. It's not that you don't have to go and buy stuff for her or try to uh, uh, get her food or whatever. It is just emotional support, whatever she requires, because at that time they are very vulnerable. And especially in the postnatal period, because that's when the support system for the mother is most important. Otherwise, the mother can slip into a postnatal depression, which is very, very real and very easy.
But tell me that while you're you're understanding her feeling, her intensity, is there an intensity to how you feel about this new family unit? Maybe protectiveness, maybe a little bit of an overwhelm of, my God, what a responsibility, but also the joy of just
No,
You
it's
know how you're entranced with that baby.
it's completely, because I see, I've done thousands of births. I've birthed so many babies, but the first time when I held my baby, it was just a different experience. I was in awe of the little boy, and which is completely different from what I usually otherwise do. I deliver the baby, gave it to the mother, and I'm happy, they are happy, all's good. But this, I just did not want to let go of him. As you said, it was like an animal instinct which had just come on, and it was me, like a lion protecting its cub, and I didn't want that cub to go anywhere. I didn't want anyone to touch him. I weighed him myself. The vitamin K I gave him myself. I did everything by myself. I refused even initially to hand over him to my wife. You know, so it is, yes, it is completely it's completely overwhelming, quite a surreal experience, and it's just it's the most beautiful experience one can have when you hold your little one in your hands for the first time. It is priceless.
So now you said they're 8 and 4.
Yes.
And what does parenting now or spending time with them now bring in you as a person? I just want to know how your life gets into it.
So initially, there was obviously not much of bonding between when the kid is small and the father. The father has no job, right? Because basically the mother, he's breastfeeding, you're burping, and so there is a connection, but there's not much of a response from the baby. But once they start growing up and they start looking at you and recognizing you, it's amazing because there is so much of interaction. I take them out football, race cars, running, jumping, we go fishing. So there's so much of father time and bonding time we have with each other, which I think is very important. Each and every father has to do it because and primarily to give the mother a break more than anything else. But this bondage one has to have with your son or your daughter, so that you can have it's an independent connection, which develops between your kids and you. And everyone needs to do that. Everyone needs to spend time with the kids on their own. Like as a father, I read books to them at night. We go out, just three of us, we go out for a picnic during the day, just spend the day together and come out. We go out of town together at times, so it's a great experience. I mean, and one has to do that. You need to spend some time with the kids, tell them stories, give them your experience, because that's the only way they will learn. They learn from you. They look through your eyes. So that's what you need to do.
And what does it give back to you?
Oh, you can see yourself growing up in them. It is, and what mistakes which I remember or what I feel I have done, which I hope they don't repeat it. So you can always correct those mistakes. You can, in case you feel that they are going to follow a different path, or to kind of guide them and steer them. So yes, it's a great novel experience. There's something which you can never pay and get it anywhere. It's overwhelming.
So if you have to give any piece of advice for the young people becoming parents today who
Yeah.
are now riddled with these stories of, oh, your life is finished, or nighttime sleep is gone, what would that be?
Yes, it is overwhelming. Yes, it can get tough. It's not a easy job to learn. I mean, you can't read about being a fatherhood, or being as a companion during labor. It all comes with experience. No one can teach you. People, I mean, no one give you advice also, hardly. It will all fall into place, but you cannot shrug your responsibilities. Okay, it is a very emotional and challenging time, and part of your life, and one has to just take it in your own stride. And the baby will teach you what to do. As you say, how the baby makes a mother, the baby also makes a father. So that is what.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ameet.
Hi, hi.
Hi.
Happy
Hi.
Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.